but we're thinking about it potentially in the future. We may do like a Patreon sort of thing and share the videos, share the backlog of videos of like either Becca and I chatting, which we've been recording the Skype for the last like 4 episodes.
Oh, nice.
And then our last few interviews. I think we have all the videos of the past interviews, so that'll be fun to like throw on there when we get to it. So
yeah.
I purposely don't have my pajamas on just because Becca told me that.
Nice.
I did try to warn you.
You did. Okay. My internet's slow. I have 2 Skypes though. I don't understand.
Say kill any apps that are not Skype, maybe? Like
Can I close Chrome?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can close Chrome.
Okay.
I've never done that before. Maybe I should try that.
Oh, here. There we go. Oh, I always do that. Okay. Hey, this looks good. Okay. Hi.
Yeah, I try to quit like as much as I can.
Can't do that. Okay. How was work today?
It was good.
Did you make
throw all those
200
bowls
pots
today?
What?
Did you make those bowls today?
What
or
bowls?
Sorry, you made the cocktail cups, didn't you?
Yeah, I made 60 of those, and then I made 20 large bowls and 20 plates. Not
Sweet.
too shabby. Shall we start? Do you want to start, or do you want to talk beforehand? And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but
I don't know either. Do you have the shared note? I mean, I jotted a few things down.
I didn't write. I mean,
no.
Usually Becca and I are supposed to be the prepared ones. I don't know that you have to have anything.
Yeah.
I have one
You didn't
tissue.
have any homework, Heidi.
Okay.
You have what?
I said I have one tissue.
Just in case.
And a glass of water.
Well, I started eating a taco salad for dinner. Oh, and then I was like, oh, do you know what sounds really good? Tater tots. And so then I made tater tots and cheese sauce. Oh. And that's why my day's going well. Oh. Right there. Anyway, let's start.
Okay.
Oh, I guess we're already recording, so we can just be like, hi, we're live.
Oh, hey.
Hi, we are.
Hi.
So we have a guest today. Becca, would you like to introduce who we have with us today for those that may not know?
Yes. We have the lovely Heidi Fahrenbacher. She's like, oh, no.
She's like, oh, I'm on the spot.
Heidi lives in Michigan. I don't know what town. Near Kalamazoo. She's doing the...
near Kalamazoo.
She's escaped Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's see. I found out and met Heidi through the podcast, Boldly Podcast, which I think still has episodes that you can listen to, but you guys don't do it anymore. Right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. And I remember listening to the podcast thinking, this person is me. Only like a lot quieter. And so
yeah, when did you stop recording that? Has it been like a year and a half or so now? I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, year and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were one of the last episodes, Ryan.
Yeah, I haven't looked back at it in a while.
You did one of the episodes?
Yeah, I think I was, because it was right before Alyssa got.
Wait, you were on one of the episodes?
I was.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know? You didn't know that?
No, I probably didn't listen to it.
Well, you don't You don't listen to a ton of other pottery podcasts, I don't think, anyway.
So. That's true. No, but I listen to all the Boldly ones.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because you guys had a good one. And, okay, but anyway, Heidi, in like 2 to 3 minutes, tell us about yourself and what you do and how you got into clay and your whole life story.
Okay. Here, I'll set my timer.
Don't.
It doesn't have to be to a timer, Heidi. Just count down. You're on the clock.
Okay. So what did you tell you how I got involved with clay?
Sure.
Yeah, and
what
you do, and like where you are, and like that your place is a bed.
In life? Like where I am in life? Okay, I will take this seriously, I promise. Okay. So when I was in like middle school, 7th grade. When I was in 7th grade, I got a scholarship, and I could either go to, it was for the summer, I could either go to a local math and science center or to our local art center. And I remember thinking, math and science, why would I want to do that during the summer?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
So I took a drawing class, and it was fun. And then the next summer, I got the scholarship again, and I took a painting class. And the ceramic studio was across the hall from the painting and drawing studio. And the kids in there looked like they were having so much more fun. And they were getting dirty. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. So the next summer, I begged my mom to let me take a class. And I took a pottery class, and I was 15 by that time. And I've been taking classes. Well, I don't take classes now, but, I did throughout high school. And we didn't have, I know a lot of people have like high school clay classes, like in their school.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. I went to a really small school.
I didn't either. So.
Yeah. And then I went to college, and I was like, I do not want to. I was like, I don't want to do art. I want to be a gerontologist because I love old people.
Oh, what? What do you call
a gerontologist?
Okay, what does that mean? Is that caring for old people?
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do. I love old people, and seriously, it's true. I love them. I don't know why Becca's laughing about this. Becca, you love old people too?
No,
I mean, I've heard of people wanting to go to school to be like, what are the children doctor? Is it pediatric?
Oh, pediatrician. Yeah.
Pediatrician. I've heard of that. I've never heard of wanting to be an old people doctor.
Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, I did. I love old people. But let's see, the summer in between my freshman and sophomore year. So my dad was like, I don't think you want to be a doctor. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I think you should be an art major because I think that would make you happy.
Your parents told you that?
Yeah, my dad did.
Wow, what a gem.
I know, and I was like,
you should keep him.
Okay.
Is he in a creative profession, or was he?
No, he was a hospital administrator, so I think he was like, you don't want to deal with this crap.
Oh, so he was in that space and was like, okay, I don't know if that's for you.
Right. So I went and switched my major
to art.
Yep. Let's see how much time I have left. Oh, it stopped. Darn it! I ran over.
Okay, so tell us about so you have your own studio. Tell us about that.
What it's like? It's an old veterinarian clinic. I call it.
What do you do? Tell us what you do, Heidi.
I make pottery.
More specifically, what techniques do you use? What's your business like?
Oh, that's right. This is a pottery podcast. Okay.
There's nobody quite in the world that can make me laugh like you can, Heidi. I don't know why.
Okay. So, I have a studio where I slip cast pottery. it's mostly slip cast. I do throw some. I started throwing stoneware last year, and I'm in the process of turning that into slip casting that too.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. I talked to Laguna about converting it, so yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You primarily use the white slip for your slip cast work, and then your thrown work is more like speckled stoneware.
Right. Yeah, I think we use the same clay.
Okay.
Ryan, do you like 608? 806?
608. Yeah, 608.
608. Okay, yeah. So I have, go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so right now I have 2 lines of pottery. I have like a production line, and that, I wholesale that line and sell it retail. And then I have a one-of-a-kind line that I only sell retail.
Okay. And didn't you, like way back in the day, weren't you primarily throwing, and then you switched to slip casting, right?
Yes. Okay. So, all right. I feel so bad for you because you have to edit this.
We're not editing
I'm not
anything.
editing a goddamn thing.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. So we're gonna back up. Okay. So I graduated from college with a degree in fine arts and art history.
Okay.
Okay. And then I moved to Scotland.
Well, what?
Because I was like, I'm going to go and learn about ceramics there. I learned nothing about ceramics. I worked in the deli. And then I came back.
How long were you there?
Just like half a year.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I came back, and then I started working at the Kalamazoo Institute of Arts. I was the assistant lab tech. And while I was doing that, a local potter needed an assistant. So I started working for him. And I worked for him for about 14 months. And then I was like, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to go out full time and do this. Because there's a part of me that doesn't think things through clearly. That's like, I'm just going to do it. So that's when I started. So that was 2006 is when I was like, I'm just going to do this. And that's when I started doing, I had done a couple art fairs the year before, like 3. And I was like, I'm going to become a full-time potter.
So you were already producing work while you were apprenticing to that person?
So yeah, so I was his assistant. That was after college. When I was in college, I was actually an apprentice for a potter.
Okay.
And I learned a lot there.
So is that what gave you what gave you the confidence to like say, okay, I see what these people are doing, like I see what's in their process, and that's what gave you the confidence to do it full time, or was it just kind of a feeling?
I'm going to tell you the truth. I got mad. I am very motivated by getting angry, which most people don't probably think because I'm like, ha ha ha, but I got mad because this is such a silly story, but so I was working for this potter and it was around Christmas time and I asked to leave early because some people had ordered some mugs and they wanted to meet me so they could pick up their mugs. And he said I couldn't leave early. And I had been working for him for a year and I had never asked to leave early. It was like an hour early. Could I leave an hour early today, you know? And he said, no. He said, my work is more important than your work. And I seriously remember in my head, I was like, hell no, I am done. And that's what happened. I wish it was some thoughtful story, but I just got mad.
So you kind of jumped to full time in spite of him, just be like, hey, I'm going to do this. And then I don't have to listen to anybody and work for anybody.
And he was like, you're not ready for this. And I was like, I am totally ready.
I love it whenever anybody says, I'm ready for this, you're like, no, you're not. You're not. You're never ready.
You're talking about as an outsider saying that, or you're talking about internally, you're like, I'm ready, but I'm not really ready. Like, but I'm not going to say that.
Right.
Like, looking back, no, I was not. But at the time, I was like, I can do this. So I did it.
So you had been selling some work for a year, maybe, or 2 years-ish, up till then?
Yeah, at art fairs. And then I just kind of went insane. So I tried to do, I was teaching. I used to teach a lot at the Kalamazoo Institute of Arts. I haven't taught there in a while, probably maybe 10 years. But so like I would go to like all kinds of stores and try and get them to consign my work. I was like pounding the pavement. I was like, people are going to buy my pottery.
Right.
You were determined.
I was determined, and I was mad. So right, I couldn't be wrong. I had to be right.
Right.
So I did that, and I was going good. And then I decided to start wholesaling my work because the guy that I had apprenticed for in college, he made most of his money wholesaling his work. So I was like, well, I'll do that. And so, let's see, I started doing that like big time in 2012.
Okay.
So like
when you say big time,
trade shows.
When there's a kitty. Anyway, when you say that you started wholesaling your work like big time, what are we talking about, like piece wise? Like how many pieces do you think you were producing like monthly? You don't have to be accurate, but like just round of
Too many. Well, because it was just me. No. Okay. And I had not priced my work high enough. So I burned myself out pretty fast.
Okay, so what did you price your work at? This is in what, 2012? 12. Yeah. I don't know. I could look it up, but I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's a great podcast. Sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I love it.
So when you were wholesaling, were you were throwing everything at this point? I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. So I had a system.
So you had to build a consistency and.
Right. So my dad, the guy from before, he had retired by this point, and I was like, oh, guess what? I'm putting you to work. So, because I couldn't do everything. So I had my dad wedge the clay. He would weigh it out and wedge it, and then he would give it to me. I would throw it. He would trim it. And this is when I was hand drawing on every piece. I used to hand draw with an underglaze pencil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I taught my dad how to do that, and he did a great job. He can copy my drawings to a T. It's crazy.
That's amazing. I should
tell everyone that, but he can. Yeah. And he was so cute because I made like a little like a guide for him, with all the different drawings, and he would take it home at night and study it.
Oh my God.
Practice. Isn't that cute? Yeah. So that's how I kept up with wholesale for a while.
Okay, so you eventually burned out.
Yeah, I burned out. And so what happened was, so after this wholesale really took off, I started to get like pain in my hip. And I was like, oh man, this pain won't go away. I don't know what's wrong. And then I tried like all the things. So I tried throwing, standing. And I tried like new shoes, anti-fatigue mats, a chiropractor, all the things. Steroid shots, which I don't do well with at all. And then I went to an orthopedic surgeon, and he was like, oh, you have a birth defect in your hip, like you need surgery. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, whoa. I'm 32 or 30. Yeah, I was 32. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? So I was like, okay. Now, I want to interject here.
Okay, I'm ready.
I don't know if I actually needed that surgery because I have the same birth defect in my other hip, too. And that hip never bothers me. But I'm not going to turn this into a health podcast, I promise. But so anyway.
No, it's okay.
Oh, no.
But is it on a side that is strained more because of like throwing and sitting and like
I lost you.
Leaning over and stuff?
Yes, that's what it is. Because that's a great point. Can you see me?
Yeah.
I can see you, okay.
I can't see you. I don't know what happened.
Go to the Skype icon and click it.
I am. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yes, Ryan. So I get the exact same hip pain if I throw too much now.
Okay.
That's why I was like, I don't think I really needed that surgery. And
it may have prolonged you because it's been a while since you've had that surgery, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I had that in 2013. But that was a pain. That was really hard to come back from because I was on crutches for 2 months.
Okay.
And then you have to like learn to walk because I couldn't put any weight on that leg. So it was like dead,
Yeah.
So you have to rebuild all that strength back up. But that's when I started slip casting.
Okay.
So did you know how to make molds and things like that, or you just learned from scratch?
I didn't know. I took one mold making class in college, and I didn't really pay attention because I thought slip casting wasn't
as
handmade enough. Yeah.
Let's hear what you think about slip casting now.
It's my favorite. I love slip casting. Everyone should slip cast. It's the best. No, so I bought that. There's a slip casting book by Andrew Martin, and I bought that, and I was like, well, I'll just read this book and I'll make molds. And they were horrible. My molds were really bad. Like some of the galleries that had bought from me were like, your work looks like a beginner did it now. And I was like, a beginner is doing it. You're right.
Because I just started slip casting.
I have no idea what I'm doing. But I mean, then I got rid of those molds and just kept trying again.
So what are the early issues with like slip casting that's like hard to get over? Is it the like understanding the right consistency of the plaster, or is it like not getting a clean form or like the right shape of form?
Yeah, so
or the right slip?
I don't think it was a couple things. The shape wasn't right, and then like when you slip cast, if it's too thin, it can warp. And so early on, I had a lot of warping problems. So and that's just like experience. Like you can't take the pieces out of the mold too soon, they'll warp. And so the white clay I use is porcelain, and porcelain has memory. I mean, all clay has memory, but porcelain's like really finicky. So you have to, kind of baby it. And I wasn't. I was, too hard with it. And just the shapes. So I don't know what I was doing, but like when I would try and convert the thrown piece into a mold, it just looked bad. Like it just looked really bad. Like I just did not have the touch at all. Like it was really rough. Like it was all bumpy and misshapen, and she was right. It looked like a beginner. Like I'm so sorry. This looks awful. So.
How long do you think it took you to like actually figure it out? Because I've tried slip casting and it was horrible. Like I'm not a slip caster in any way, shape, or form, but me and Andrew tried it one day out of a whim, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, I made one mold before of a thrown piece, but I've never used it. Like, I don't even know that it would. I don't know that it would exactly work. I like poured it into a country crock container or something with the piece like stuck in the bottom, and then, did the whole poured it over top of a piece that was solid or thrown. Yeah, I haven't used it though.
It probably took about a year.
A year.
But, I was doing it full time. Like I didn't have the luxury of a learning curve. Like I had to get things right, I mean, I guess I could have gotten like a part-time job, and tried to.
So were you like entirely in wholesale slip cast at that point, or were you still straddling wheel and slip? Because okay.
No.
Because you couldn't physically throw?
100%.
Yeah. Because the other thing was too, like when I recovered from when I was recovering from that hip surgery, I couldn't sit at a 90-degree angle for a long time.
Okay.
And I also couldn't stand very long. So I couldn't like sit and throw, and I couldn't stand and throw. So I was kind of screwed. So I just had to slip cast.
And you're tall, right? You're pretty tall.
Yeah, I'm 5'10" and a quarter.
And a quarter. Okay, well you're tall to me. You're not tall to the rest of the world, but
you're taller than me.
Oh.
Okay, you're tall.
It's all right, Ryan.
She's tall, yeah.
She's tall. I would imagine that kind of like played into it too, because it was like the table height and everything like that. Most things aren't.
That's true.
Most things aren't made for tall people, I feel like, as far as working is concerned.
I'm always having Joe lift everything.
Who's Joe?
Oh, Joe's my husband, sorry. I'm like, this is too short for me. But then, like, at our house, things have to be normal size because he's shorter than I am.
It's not a podcast without a train passing by.
That's not. Where's that? Is that you, Becca?
Outside Becca.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. We say always that, like, I've never lived anywhere without a train next to me.
Oh.
So, or worked anywhere without a train next to me. So, okay. When did you buy the vet clinic that is now your studio?
2017. February. No, wait, that's not right. No, it is. February 2017.
And you own it, right? You don't rent it from anybody.
No, I own it. We own it.
Do you feel like that was a mistake?
All ours. Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we first bought it, I cried hysterically. I was like, "We need to sell it. I don't want it." But no.
So did you make everything out of a home studio before that, I'm guessing?
Kinda. My parents' home. So they had an old chicken coop that they didn't use. Well, they kind of used it for storage. And I was like, can't you just store your lawnmower in your garage? And they were like, sure. So I rented the chicken coop from my parents. And then I had I had it set up. I had separate power run to the chicken coop, so I didn't have to take, any of their power or anything. So it was a whole separate deal. And then I had because it's in the country, so it's not as easy to just run a line. And then it had separate propane.
Yeah.
So I had my own propane tank for heat and all that. So.
Did you move to the new space because you just needed more room, or did you just?
I did. Yeah, I needed more room. Yeah.
Yeah. Her space is kind of creepy in the back. There's big cages. First of all, because it was a vet clinic, but it's also all cement on the inside.
It's like cave.
Yeah, it's like a cave, and it's all cement, and they're all white walls. Oh my! I'm sorry. We have to pause because there's a lady outside in the courtyard with 2 kittens, and very cute. Okay, moving back.
Becca's distracted.
I can't help it.
I thought you were reminiscing about my studio and getting scared, really scared.
Okay, so anyway, it's white. It's white brick, and then it has a hallway down the middle, and then all the other rooms on the side, and in the very back where her kilns are, to the left of it, there's like cages that all of the animals used to. I'm sure they used to keep all the animals overnight, and it's a little bit creepy. It's I wouldn't want to be there at night.
Oh, I'm not there at night. It used to scare me. I don't know if either of you ever were into The Walking Dead, but I used to really be into The Walking Dead. And every time it's because it's a cave. You would walk in there, it's pitch black, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
So, okay, going back to your wholesale and stuff like that, when you transitioned into slip casting from thrown stuff to slip casting, did your style, has your style pretty much been the same?
No.
Or?
No.
No.
When I went out on my own, I borrowed a kiln from a friend, a gas kiln. So for a while there, I was probably like the first 8 years. I was maybe 8 years, maybe not that long. I was doing maybe 6. Probably 6. I was doing high fire reduction. See, I'm telling you, I should have prepared better. I should have had a timeline. Laid out my life story.
You could say 6. You could say 2 years. People don't know. They're not gonna. They're not gonna.
You know what, Ryan? Apparently, I don't know either.
Just guess. Just throw a number out there.
Hey, Heidi, tell me your life story, and I'm like, I don't know. I woke up today. I got dressed. Good job. I'm like, God, this is ridiculous. So anyway, high fire reduction. My favorite glaze is still Malcolm Davis Chino. Like, I think that's so beautiful. I miss that a lot. And then, so what had happened, so the kiln, I'm going to get technical. That kiln didn't have a bag wall. So when you would fire with reduction, it would like burn. It wasn't very consistent at all.
Okay.
And so with wholesale, you want to be consistent, right? And I was like, so I'm going to switch from firing reduction to oxidation. And then that's when I started using the mason stains.
Okay. So. And describe kind of what you do with your colors. Because like some people don't know what your pieces look like. Like we do.
Right.
Not your individual stuff, but your like wholesale stuff.
So my wholesale work is very simple forms that are brightly colored with decals of my illustrations on them. So there's like bicycles and trees. There's lots of like outdoor things. And
they're like line drawings.
Yes, line drawings, yep. And so I make all my own. So the slip cast I make, and then I make all my own glazes, and they're brightly colored with different mason stains.
Okay.
You have like a Roy G. Biv of different shades of color. Okay.
Yes. And I only add a color if it goes with the other colors. Like I've tested a ton of colors, but if they don't line up,
And do you have every color of the rainbow?
No.
What color are you missing?
Yellow. Because I hate yellow.
Yellow's like the best color.
I know. Isn't it like your favorite color? And I'm like, I hate it. No, yellow's fine. It is. It's fine. But like my green's kind of yellowy.
It's like yellow-green kind of.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like you're missing a color.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
To me it doesn't, but I'm sure to yellow lovers it does. People ask me a lot if I do yellow. And I politely say no.
Do you just have the white with your... Because the drawings are in black, right?
Or so they're kind actually that sepia tone.
Sepia, okay.
Yeah. But they do look black. They're really dark brown.
Yeah, your green is it's like a chartreuse.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like it's missing anything for sure. Yeah. Tell us okay. So I know, your mug shape, did you throw that?
Yes.
Okay, now.
Which mug
your vase shape? Like the one that kind of wides out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, you want me to tell all my secrets, don't you?
Yeah, I do want you to tell all your secrets.
Okay, fine. Okay, so yes, the mug I threw, and then you're gonna ask me about my vases. Okay, you can ask me about my vases. So
tell us what your vases are.
They're PVC pipe. They are PVC pipe. Ask me if I have any regrets. I have no regrets. I don't. And it's so funny because if you would have asked me that like years ago, I'd been like, "Oh, you can't do that," and now I'm just like, "Why not?" I mean, it's just another. You make a mold. People make molds of all sorts of things, right?
Yeah.
Why can't I use a PVC pipe?
Well, plus a PVC pipe allows you to have are all of your molds one-piece molds, or do you have multi-piece molds as well?
I used to make a lot of house canisters in the shape of houses, and those were two-part molds. But now I just really use just one-part molds.
Yeah.
That just seems to simplify the process significantly, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it does.
Especially for wholesale.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into like the wholesale stuff because I feel like you are one of the people that I know that's specifically very geared towards wholesale. And you've been in it a long time.
I have been in it a long time.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Okay, how many wholesale clients do you think you have?
I don't know.
Okay, but
how many did I have at the peak?
How many do you have right now?
I don't know.
Do you have
I know,
10? Do you have
telling you.
50?
Okay. We need to have a break. Okay. I mean, you can keep recording this, but last year when everything went down, I really just quit caring about everything. I mean, not, you know what I mean? I was just like, I'm just gonna go with the flow. It's either gonna work or it's not. I used to be like, every time a company would order wholesale, I would update my website, to show like, oh, this store sells my work. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the last time I did that.
Well, the wholesale ones, right? Some of that, like they bought it, like they own it. So saying that like you can buy it there, I feel like I do that more for consignment shops than wholesale clients.
I mean, I have a list, and if a wholesale store wants to know if another store in their zip code is carrying product, I'll tell them, but I don't.
You're not giving out a running list to all your wholesale clients like here's other places. Yeah.
No. So at the peak, there were probably about 62, 64.
Holy shit.
Yeah, see why I burned out?
Yeah.
And I was doing, I was still doing art fairs too.
Wow. Okay, how many do you think you have now? Like, let's like take a guess.
Probably 30.
Okay, maybe 30.
20 to 30.
And of those wholesale clients, like, I know you don't know the for sure answer, but like when you're making pieces like monthly, about how many pieces do you think you're shipping out monthly?
Oh, for wholesale? So we ship every week. So, and it depends, on the season, because wholesale's
right.
There's a busier season. So probably on average, probably 50 pieces, 100 a week.
A week?
Yeah.
Okay.
100 pieces a week. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I don't think I'm as busy as Rebecca with wholesale.
Nobody's as busy as Rebecca. It's fine.
Right. But yeah, I mean, we ship a lot. The UPS person comes every week.
So for people that aren't as like versed in wholesale, you said 30 clients, are those usually like a couple orders per year from those 30, or is it like half of them are one a year and then like a small set, or like 4 times a year? Like, Like, what's a regular kind of time frame for a client?
So usually it's at least twice a year.
Okay.
Usually in the around February, and then again. I like to have them in September, but people always want to place orders in October. And then a lot of times people order like every couple of months. So for wholesale, you have a minimum, and my minimum is $200. So a store has to order at least $200 worth of product.
In wholesale price, right?
Yeah, wholesale price. And then the reorder is only 100.
Okay.
So, sometimes they'll reorder to fill, to fill the shelves if it gets picked over.
Yeah. How are you taking those orders? Is that all through your website, or is it a manual, like contact you and say, hey, I'm interested in reordering, or?
Yeah, so it's a couple different ways. Sometimes they just contact me directly, and then I also use Faire, Faire, and then my website is through Shopify, and Shopify just launched their own wholesale platform called Handshake. And they asked me to apply, and I seriously just applied yesterday. So
is that like separate from your Shopify like interface, or is that like a Faire competitor?
I think it's a Faire competitor, but only for people who, I think, now I could be wrong, I think it's only for people who have their store on Shopify.
Okay.
And then it's like
an add-on kind of thing.
Yeah, and then it's 0 fees. Whereas Faire takes like 25%. If it's a new client, if it's a returning or someone that you added already from your list, it's 15%.
Okay.
But it sounds like an invite-only kind of group. I mean, you said it's new, right? Handshake is a newer thing, so they're only inviting a few people to get started.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Or you have to apply at least, so. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
Nice.
Could be good. Could not be good, but it's not going to hurt you if it's not.
Right. Right.
So that's good.
Yeah. So
do you have like cutoff dates to say like I can't accept any orders during these months because I'm like booked kind of thing?
Yeah, I do. Well, I don't know. Well,
or do you change your timelines? Or
I do. I like to take time off. It's fun. It's nice to take time off. So usually, because I used to, and I feel like I also learn everything the hard way. I used to not have a cutoff time, and people were ordering wholesale like right up until Christmas, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I'm exhausted. So now it's usually in November. It depends, like maybe the first week of November. But then again, I'm such a pushover. If it's someone I know well, and they're like, oh, can I get a wholesale order in? I'm like, okay. By the 1st of December.
Yeah, because if it's a reorder and it's $100 worth,
right.
I mean, that you could maybe fit that in, but it's kind of, you got to draw the line of like, yes, I can commit to this, or no, I can't. Because inevitably there are going to be those stragglers that come in late that you can kind of plan for.
Right. And then like I shut it down over Christmas, so like a couple weeks after Christmas, but people keep, I don't understand people. They still email me. They're like, oh, when can I place my order? January 15th, you can place your order. You have to create boundaries, right?
Yeah.
I think that's hard too when you're starting out. Like, I don't know if your audience, starting out is so fun, but it's also so scary, and you just want like to do everything. And that's what I did. I was like, oh, I will sell on Etsy, and I'll have my own retail store, and I'll do all these art fairs, and I'll do wholesale, and I'll, blah. Oh, Ryan's raising his hand right now. And that's all, that's good. Like, I totally understand it. But there comes a point where I just started to feel pulled in so many different directions. And I think my body was like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, damn you, body.
So were the fairs being too much like task on the body? Is that why you had to put it aside? Or was it like wholesale was just more your speed of working? Or how did you kind of decide to dedicate all to mainly wholesale right now?
Oh, so actually, like right now,
well, in the last, since you've been doing it sounds like wholesale is the majority of your business. Is that accurate?
No, I don't think it's a majority. It's probably a third, maybe a third.
Oh, it's only a third.
Well, because you shifted this last year, right? Again.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I'm always threatening to quit doing wholesale. Every January, I'm like, I quit. I'm never doing it again. And then I'm like, well, it is kind of easy. And it's easy because you don't have to promote your work as hard. Someone else does that for you. So, yeah. So so online sales have been a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better. So.
I bought your very first stoneware mug.
You did, yeah.
Yes, I did.
You started a trend.
I started a trend.
Yeah, we've got one too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that was last year in March.
Right. That's right before everything shut down.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and your online has kind of taken off.
Yeah, it has.
In the best way possible.
Yeah, it's funny because that's what I really wanted, was to just sell online. Like, if I could do anything I wanted, which you can, right? I was like, I would just like to sell online. Like, I'd see people that just sold online and be like, oh my God, that looks like great. So
why was that enticing to you?
Yeah, and is it fulfilling?
Selling online?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And it was enticing to me because I'd been doing art fairs for so long. Like, I was gone all the time. I was doing I don't know, 15 shows a year, maybe more. So I was just gone all the time. And Joe, he doesn't do the shows with me. And I kind of missed him.
That was your weekend. I mean, you didn't have any weekends anymore. You were 15 weekends of the year.
Right. And then the weekends I was home, I was trying to catch up on laundry, or going grocery shopping, or I was just trying to catch up on sleep. And it was man, this is hard.
Not only that, but you're an introvert, and shows, I imagine, are a little bit more emotionally taxing.
Right. And I'm also a sensitive person. So when people say mean things to me, it hurts my feelings. I will admit it.
Wow.
I am an introvert, but being isolated for so long, I talk to people all the time now. Okay, we've been talking 55 minutes. I could probably talk to you for 3 more hours. And I'm like, who are you? All I want to do is talk to people. Yeah, shows are hard. And also, so I'm in the Midwest and I'm in Michigan, and there's a lot of severe weather. It's mainly the severe weather. People don't talk about that a lot, but there's tornadoes here,
Yeah.
And I was at a show once in Evanston, which is a suburb of Chicago, and there were 70-mile-per-hour wind bursts.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that's scary. And that went through the show, and one potter was shoveling up his booth. That was all that was left, was shards.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That'll test your tent weights.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen like tents take off. I've seen people get injured. You know, there's lightning, and I started telling people I haven't done well last year. There weren't any shows, but in 2019, people always try and like seek shelter in my tent, and I just started saying to them like, "This is a temporary structure. You need to go indoors."
And if you're gonna be in here, grab a leg and hold on to it.
Right.
Hold this tent down so it doesn't go anywhere.
Right. So, yeah. It's just, yeah, it's hard. It was hard. It's hard.
So what's like, obviously COVID and stuff happened, but like what's your business breakdown now of like the online versus the wholesale and then any other ways that you sell?
I know this. I know this because I added it up the other day. So this year, so far this year, half has been wholesale and half has been retail.
Okay.
So it's like 50-50.
Nice.
But it's pretty early in the year. Like we just had the busy wholesale season. So, you know, that could change going forward.
Yeah. So are you making for restock? Are you kind of in restock mode
right now
these days? Or just in general, like you make to a restock and then you do that as well as wholesale kind of on the side?
Yeah. 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 That's what I'm trying to do. That is what I'm trying to do. So I'm kind of in a transition too, because, you know, the studio has a showroom, like it has an actual gallery space, but it hasn't really been open. And so I'm trying to decide how I want to open that back up, because it's hard. You know, when you're in the zone and then someone interrupts you, you have to go and talk to them, and then you have to get back to work. And so, like, I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I had... Oh, go ahead.
Have you ever had anybody work for... Well, I guess you haven't really had the retail space for that long to where you could sell, like, have somebody kind of work it while you're working in the back or something.
Right, yeah. Plus, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to try it and see.
How much has your town, like, traveled? Is that going to be a destination for people to come to you? Or is it like in an area that is... people are seeking out your stuff, or do you have a lot of local customers?
I think the question you're actually trying to ask is, are the people that know you going to come and bug the crap out of you, or are you actually going to get tourists?
Right. So it is very touristy where I am, because it's in between a bunch of lakes.
Okay.
And I could promote that more. Is the point of this podcast just to talk about pottery or business tactics? Because
it's any of it. It's you and business and
I want to say something. I do make a full-time living making pottery. It does not maybe sound like it from how I'm talking about everything, but I do.
I am a contributing member of my family from pottery sales.
Not only that, but you support your brother, don't you?
Oh, yeah, my brother works for me, too. Yeah. He's my assistant.
So not only do you make a full-time living, but you also support another human being.
Right. And the other thing is, too, I write all these numbers down. Like, I have all this stuff written down, and then it's like out of my head, like out of sight, out of mind. So if you wanted these specific numbers, I mean,
you can just ballpark it, but if you don't remember what you wrote down, then.
So here's the thing. It's a commercial. So the studio is commercial. So with that, the property taxes are higher because we own it. And so then it comes down to, do I need a commercial space or could I sell it and have a home studio? Because you had asked me if I wanted to sell it. And so that was my thought. But I would really like to like have workshops there. I don't have the desire to teach like a 12-week class again, but like workshops, like I could teach like a 1-day thing and like have other people come in and teach, you know, like weekend workshop. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, because you have like a little garage space right next to it that you could teach.
Yeah.
In, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not even utilizing the whole space that you have.
No. No, I'm not.
So much potential.
There is a lot of potential. Yeah. There's a lot of potential. Yeah.
Can we talk about money?
Yeah.
Are you comfy with that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I like numbers, but these percentages, I'm like, I don't know. Let me get my calculator.
Okay. I don't need to know about your personal fantasies, but I was wondering what the difference is in cost that you've chosen for your like your one-of-a-kind line versus your wholesale, and what you're selling your wholesale.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay.
We're ready.
What the difference is?
Yeah, how do you determine prices for wholesaling and then versus like retail and stuff like that?
Okay. So, I said earlier that when I started wholesaling, I underpriced my work, which translates to I undervalued myself.
The time that you put into it, the labor part.
Right. And so I would go through, so like I said too, my dad was he's a retired hospital CEO. And so he would be like, we need to figure out how much time it takes you to make everything. So I was like, fine. So I would time everything. And then you figure out the time it takes to make everything and then how much you want to get paid, you know, plus overhead. And what I was doing wrong was I was timing myself going as fast as I could possibly go.
Right.
That's dumb. Don't do that. Anyone that's listening to this podcast, do not do that. Time yourself going as slow. Like, time yourself being like, I don't know.
You're not being timed, just as you would normally do it.
Right.
Yeah, but like you don't care.
Right, like you don't care. But I was like, okay, this is a race.
Yeah.
So
you make a very good point, because I don't think we've ever talked about that, and I don't even think I've ever thought about that. I mean, unintentionally I have, but yeah, I mean, like, you shouldn't be timing yourself at your fastest. You should be timing yourself at your slowest.
Right. Because, like, I mean, yes, you want to be efficient, but you also are a human, and some days you're going to be more tired than others, you know?
Yeah.
But you still should get paid even if you're tired, you know?
Yeah. Or you're going to get a notification on your phone while you're doing something, or you're going to look up at the TV while you're watching something, or, you know, you're going to get a phone call, like you're going to get interrupted, or you're not going to work optimally heads down the entire time.
Yes. And so that was my mistake for a while. That's how I priced everything. But then what I do is once I figure out like how much it takes to pay me, to pay my brother, to pay the overhead, you have like a base number, right? But the thing is, with any handmade thing, even though you have this base number, what is the value of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try and charge what I think it's worth too.
Okay.
Am I answering your question at all?
Is it weird that you're picking a wholesale price when they are going to be the end sellers? So like you're putting the value on something that somebody else is going to sell in the end. So is that different at all?
That's a good question. I don't think, like, it might, It probably would be if I only did wholesale, but like because I did so many art fairs, I knew what people were willing to pay.
Yeah.
So I kind of like did my, I had my own market research. And then
go
ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go. No.
No, I was just gonna say I raised my production prices in August, I think, and then I raised them again in January or February.
So what'd you raise them to?
Well, most of the things it went up 15%, except mugs. Mugs went up a lot. I got a hate email about that.
Hate email or hate regular mail?
No. This was just a regular old email. I've gotten lots of good mail this year.
So you do sell your wholesale stuff retail as well on your like web store or like in your shop when somebody comes and visits. So they could buy it at retail price.
Right.
And your retail price is $48 for a mug. How much is your wholesale price for that mug?
It's $24. Now I know some people price it differently.
That's okay. You do you, boo.
I just do half.
Okay.
So I think what is it? What did they do, like 2.5%? 2.5? What does Rebecca do? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Some people do it a little less.
She does
2.5 for shipping though, right?
Okay.
Yeah, she like adds in like shipping and stuff or something. I don't know. She well, it's different for every customer, I feel like.
Right.
Because she's making like customized pieces for people. But yeah, I don't know exactly how she does it. She's told me, I just didn't remember.
It's on the episode 35, I believe.
Right. No, I listened to it. I listened to that. So I just do half.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do half.
Yeah.
But the point is that you are making enough money on that halved price, like the 50% price, to pay, and then
Go ahead. Sorry, I don't.
And then and then the rest of it is the rest of it's kind of like, it's not gravy, but it's nice when you get to sell it for retail.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the new stoneware, I could probably wholesale that. A lot of people ask about it, but I don't want to hate it.
I feel that.
And I like it. It's fun,
Yeah.
And wholesale is fine, but it's just you're going to make the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
So
you're kind of making to their specifications. It does change when like the order's already placed for something, and then you're like, okay, I'm just making to this order versus I'm making it. We'll see what happens in the end, what messes up, what comes out of the kiln and looks amazing. Right. And then you'll sell whatever's there. It's like you get to pick from whatever's done. Like
And so, my business model has been that way for a while now, like 2014, having the two lines. Sometimes I think, like lately I've been thinking if I could streamline it down into one, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see.
So how do you deter more wholesale? Do you up the minimum?
How do you deter it?
You don't deter wholesale.
I'm not sure why you'd want
you have
to.
Order for 200.
So Ryan, that's a good question.
Well,
no, that's
you want to phase your business to a different way. I mean, you have to do something to incentivize you to want to do it more, right?
Right. So, so you would raise prices, to deter. You would raise prices. So, like I said, I raised prices in February, I think, and it didn't deter anything.
No. Yeah, all your mugs are almost sold out on your website.
Oh, I need to make
one. Matter.
What was
That's
that?
why I'm wondering that's why I'm wondering if the minimum would help. Like a new person coming in, like you have to drop $300 wholesale for it to be worth it for me. And then if you reorder, it has to be at least 150 instead of 100. Like, make it more worth it for you.
That would probably.
that could help.
People. Right, yeah.
I've always felt like wholesale is such a like conflicting situation. Like it just doesn't, it like almost doesn't make any sense to me, but it does at the same time. Like, oh, your minimum is $300, which gives me eternally more work for less money.
But you're going to deter people from wanting to spend. Some people are not going to spend $300, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to get fewer. So does that help with fewer interactions with people? You send it out.
So no, this is usually
here's my rates and stuff, and here's what I require.
I think that's a good question, or statement. But usually, what happens when you raise your minimum is you get less like small shops and like little galleries, boutiques, and you get a lot bigger places that want to sell your work. So like. I used to do a long time ago. There used to be the Etsy wholesale.
Yes.
And I sold to Whole Foods through Etsy wholesale. You know, and I don't remember what my minimum was then. My minimum used to be more. You know, they didn't care. They were gonna. Right. They were going to spend Right, they were going to spend $3,000 in wholesale. They didn't care if my minimum was a $300 or $500. So,
dang, and Etsy took a lot of profit too. Like they took a ton, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So it's
I
just
was on
more.
Etsy wholesale as well.
It's just more on your side of determining, like, hey, I need to draw the line somewhere. Like, I'm not accepting any orders right now. I'm to my capacity. And you just got to do that to turn people away, say no more, so that you can make more one-offs.
Right, but I would like to suggest, if it comes to that, you need to raise your prices.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a number of variables, but yeah, I'm trying to pick apart the different variables that people can adjust.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can pause, you can always pause. I don't know if do either of you ever listen to the Create and Thrive podcast? With Jess Van Den? She will take like 6-week vacations and like put her Etsy shop on vacation. And I know she's had like episodes about how she doesn't see a problem with it. Her sales pick right back up afterwards. And you know, when I put like the wholesale, I take a break or whatever, people don't, you know, the sales pick right back up.
Yeah.
So you take the time for yourself, and like it also builds a little bit of scarcity in that time. Like, okay, they're gone, they're on vacation. Like, okay, I'll get them when they come back.
Right.
If it's urgent, I would reach out with enough time that like you have time to fulfill it, because I reached out, you know, 12 weeks or, you know, 8 weeks before I needed it or something like that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about like mental health?
Yeah. Yep. I'm ready.
Smooth transition there.
I know, she's got her one tissue if she needs
That was the first question I thought you were going to ask me.
I have a question that sort of nicely transitions into that.
Oh, okay.
So there was that post today, a small business memes. It'll be like 2 weeks past by now, but when this releases, but that had to do with your pricing. Does stuff to people physically mailing?
Oh, you're cut off. You cut out. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, say it again. You cut out.
So there was something on Small Business Memes today that we all saw, I think, about somebody sending you something about disappointment in the pricing of your mug. And does that affect you mentally with people saying stuff like that? And then two, like, how do you, deal with it and like adjust to it?
Can we also say that it was a physical letter?
Yeah, it was. I can go grab it and show it to you if you want.
With no return address?
Yeah, no return address, yeah. So that's what happened.
Can you do a quick like summary of what it was for people that don't know? what it is as well.
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to read it to you?
No, we don't need to read it. You can go find it.
So basically, in my opinion, it was a very passive-aggressive letter written by someone who was mad at me that I raised my prices and felt the need to tell me by putting me down.
And also saying that the people of Kalamazoo, Michigan cannot afford the prices. And if they'll only be able to buy seconds. That's what they said.
Right. Yes. So at 11:30 every day. No, I'm serious. Well, at least Monday through Friday, I try and go for a walk before I eat my lunch. Just because I'm in a cave, so it's nice to like go outside and see the sunlight or the overcast skies. And so I had stopped by the mailbox that day, and I opened it up, and I was like, "Oh, a letter." Ha 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 ha.
So it was dropped off. It wasn't even like addressed or anything, like
No,
like
it was addressed.
Address.
Like they sent it through the mail.
Okay.
They didn't just drop it off. Yeah. And the funny thing was the envelope. It was handwritten. It wasn't typed out. So I was like, okay, what's this? I read the letter. I actually started laughing hysterically while I was walking, right? Because I was like, what the hell is this? Like, this is so unexpected, right? And I kept walking, and I'm walking, and I'm getting mad because I was like, that jerk. And then my parents live across the street, and so I walked over there to see them, and I was like, you're never going to believe this letter. And I told them, and they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's crazy. And then, like, I sent it to some friends and was like, can you believe this? And they're like, no, that's awful. And I told Joe, I was like, I told him about the letter when he got home from work. And, but see, what happens is with my brain, here's the mental health thing. I obsess about things. So, like, this letter was on repeat in my head. And I was like, shit. Because I know logically that what that letter says more about them than it does me. Mm-hmm. But emotionally, it triggered me to, like, times in my childhood when I had felt like shame and I had felt worthless and I had felt like, like when you're teased and made fun of, it just brought all that back. And I was really down. Like, you don't know this now, but like I got that letter, I think in March. And I was like, I don't want to post on Instagram. I don't want to post on Facebook. I don't want to write my mailing list. Like I was really down.
Yeah.
It hurt my feelings. Like, I'm a 40-year-old woman. And this letter hurt my feelings. And like I posted on Instagram, I was like, oh, this kind of blew up. Like, I appreciate your support. It helped pay for my therapy bill. And I'm like, I know everyone thinks this is a joke. It's not a joke. I actually had to make an appointment with my therapist because it brought up so much stuff. And I know, like, again, that letter says more about that person. But like I had just like raised my prices, and you all helped promote my work so I could buy a new kiln. I've never had a new kiln. Like, I've worked really hard for this. Issue.
Yeah.
And they were just like seeing it as something like I was doing to try and like make them feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the undercurrent of that whole letter is that person was jealous. Which is a very natural response. But you don't like take it out on someone else,
Right.
Jealous that they couldn't afford that, or jealous that they felt like you're rolling in money because you increase your prices and you're making $5 more or $10 more per piece now?
Well, it could be that. It's also weird because like the way that person talked about my work in that letter, I kind of wonder if they're not an artist too. And they're kind of jealous they haven't raised their prices. But I don't know, but like when I bought the studio, people were kind of shitty to me then too, because when you start to do, not everyone, but there's some people, when you start to do well, they're jealous and they start to kind of treat you like crap. You know, and I don't think people really talk about that. And like, as I said before, I'm a sensitive person. Like, I don't go around and cry all the time. I mean, I do cry a lot, but not, you know, I get my work done.
Like, my crying is on a schedule.
Right.
Those pieces are made with tears.
I'm stable.
Your slip is stained with the tears of Heidi.
Right.
It's the flocculent.
Right. But like, I don't know. And see, that was the other thing. Like, I'd see these letters on the small business meme and I'd be like, man, these people are like becoming unhinged. And then it was like, I got one of those letters and I was like, oh no. So yeah, it did affect me. It made me feel bad.
Yeah.
It did.
I feel like reading some of those on small business memes, I'm like, I can't deal with that negativity as much. So I'm like shitting on people for being shitty is like, even the comment section of that, like shitting on the person who said it. I'm like, that's too much for me. Like, I get it. There are people out there, but that's like a small fraction and a whole page that's like 1% of your customer base.
Right.
No, I feel like it's just overall negative to read those kind of posts, but
because I was reading through all the comments and a lot of them are really funny, but I also thought, like, this person that wrote this letter, they're really struggling. Like, they need to get help, you know?
Yeah.
So
when you shared that with me a while ago, like last month. Yeah, you shared it with me last month.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, like, because I don't know if it's because I'm like a turtle and I have like a hard shell but a soft inside, but like, I was like, this is hilarious and this is terrible, but it's also hilarious. It was mostly the fact that it was a paper letter.
That was a physical letter.
Yeah, folded up.
Like that part. And I remember laughing and then thinking immediately, oh my God, this is Heidi. Like, I know that you're sensitive. So I was like, oh my God, she's like, this has affected her.
Right.
Like, you know, thinking, oh, like Heidi, in that regard, you are not like me at all. And it really does like affect you.
Right. But I have to say something. I used to be like that. I used to I would never cry. Like, my mom even says, like, when I was a kid, like a little kid, I didn't cry. And I didn't. I wouldn't cry in front of anyone. I didn't cry. I was hard. Like, I was tough.
Yeah.
Like you said, I was soft on the inside and I wasn't going to show it. And then, like, I remember even I had been to therapy in college, after my friend was murdered, because I was like, oh, this is pretty traumatic. This is going to mess me up. But no, seriously, I was. I remember saying to my mom, yeah, I should probably go to therapy because this is not going to end well. But I didn't, it was too soon and it wasn't a good fit. So anyway, I ended up starting therapy again in 2016. And I remember the first time I cried at my therapist's office, I said to her, I can't leave. And she's like, why? And I was like, because everyone outside in the waiting room will know that I have been in here crying and no one can know I have been crying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she's like, but you look okay. And I was like, no, I have to wait.
Like, you have to like make sure.
Yeah, like no one can see that I have any emotion.
And now you're bringing a tissue to podcast.
I know.
In preparation.
I know.
It seems like the layout of a therapist's office should have like a separate exit than the entrance door, right, so that you're not passing by the people when you're.
Right. Ryan, can you
leaving.
Please put that on the comment card?
No idea. Or maybe it's beneficial for the people exiting therapy to see the people, to give them some hope when they're going in. I don't know.
So,
So, okay.
More mental health.
Kind of like,
let's do it.
kind of like scooting away from that. I remember we talked a lot at the beginning of the pandemic, because I was going through some stuff and you were going and obviously everybody was going through stuff. But how do you feel like the pandemic has affected you? And do you feel, because a lot of potters actually thrived during the pandemic, I feel like.
Yes.
Especially online. And I'm wondering how, I felt really conflicted with the whole issue of making a lot of money, and people are, lots of people are getting sick and lots of people are dying, and but I'm here making a bunch of money. and did that affect you at all?
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah. So when I had one of my first stoneware updates, because I think people need to know this too. I would have updates and nothing would sell. Okay. So
I still have updates and nothing sells.
Right.
Or
I mean, so
3 or 5 things sell,
Right. And that's okay. But this was the first update I had, and everything sold, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening, and I was so excited. But then I turned the news on, and so COVID hit Eastern Michigan pretty hard, over by Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And they had on the news this poor woman, and I don't remember her name, but her husband and son died the same day. And it was at that time, really early on, they couldn't even she couldn't go to the hospital, she couldn't go to the funeral. And it was the same day I'd had that update, and I just started sobbing because I felt so guilty. I felt so guilty, and I had to call up my therapist and talk to her. And she said that, and it's true, I do this. I think a lot of people with depression do this. You never let yourself really feel joy. It's kind of like you're always waiting for the shoe to drop, the other shoe to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was so excited, and then this thing happened, and I couldn't differentiate between good things can happen to me and bad things can happen to other people, but that doesn't take away from my good. Does that make sense?
It's not a zero-sum thing where because you're good, somebody else is going to be bad because of it.
Right. So, yeah, that did. And then when, oh my God, last year was such a mess. So, and then when George Floyd happened, I mean, it was just, and it was just one thing after another, and I'm selling all this pottery, and all this shit keeps going down. And so, you're trying to, I don't know, be respectful, right? And I think that, I think really that's all you can do is just acknowledge that these bad things are going on, but you also have to realize, and my friend Megan Almond really helped me with this, because she was like, these bad things are still going on, and the world needs beauty now more than ever. People feel bad, because of COVID, because of George Floyd, and so you need to keep making beautiful things. And I was like, oh, that's right. And it's funny, my therapist had told me that, but there's a part of me that's she's just being nice to me because I'm paying her, right?
Yeah.
But it's true, because people always say to me, because I use bright colors, and my pottery's happy. They're like, oh, it makes me so happy. And I'm like, oh, they're just saying that. And I'm like, stop it. They are giving you a compliment. Take the compliment,
Yeah. Totally.
So did it affect your motivation while you were making, when all this shit's going on, or was it mainly the selling kind of guilt and up and downs for you last year?
No, so I think like for a long time I couldn't talk about how I felt at all. And so like how I expressed myself was like making things. And so I think last year when things got heavy, I just kept making because that was all I could do. And you weren't like you were isolated. You couldn't really talk. I mean, you could talk to people on the phone and whatnot, but like I would just go into the cave and make stuff, and you know, and it was kind of like I had nothing to lose,
Yeah.
because who knew what was going to happen? It was so crazy. So might as well go in the cave and make pretty stuff,
Is there ever like a point where you get like so, I know I get this way, where you get like so depressed that you just like all the motivation just leaves to like make anything?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. All the time. But I think that's normal.
Yeah.
I do. I think so what I've done now is going back to like when we're talking about figuring out your prices and how I would like time myself going as fast as possible. Like now I really take a lot of breaks. And that's helped me a lot. Like I get to the studio usually around 8:30, and then I take a break around 10:15, 10:30 for like 15 minutes. Then I try and go for a walk at 11:30. Then like from noon to 1, I eat lunch. And then I go back to the studio at 1, and then at like maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock, I take another break. I also take a lot of breaks because I'm hungry all the time and I eat all the time. And then I usually work till maybe 4 or 5, and then I'm done. And I'm actually more productive when I take a lot of breaks and I don't try and push myself. Like I tried to push myself so hard for so long, like trying to show everyone I was a badass. And now I'm like, I don't care if anyone thinks I'm a badass. Like, I'm going to sit down and eat my crackers and cheese, you know? And when when I feel unmotivated, that's usually a sign that I just need to take a break.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Like when I started working at Gravesco, I like one of Dusty, the guy that works, he's the other production potter, one of them. And he works for 6 hours. He makes 100 pieces in 6 hours, usually 5 hours, and he leaves. Like he's very scheduled. He, throws like 30 things, takes a break, eats a hard-boiled egg, goes back, throws more, takes a break, eats lunch, goes back, and it was like we talked about it a lot, me and Ryan, about how like I just couldn't get into a groove, and I think that I was just trying to like fit and match his speed because I felt like I should be, doing this. I mean, I'm as fast as him, no question, but I felt like I should be doing like matching how long he's there. And then I'm like quickly, or not actually slowly, I'm very slowly realizing that like I really enjoy being at work. And I get there at 11, 12 maybe, and I'm there till like 7 or 8, and I'm fine with it. Like it's not, it's not like per hour for me. It's not how much I'm making per hour. It's like how much I'm enjoying being there. And like sometimes I'll go over by my coworkers and shoot the shit for 30 minutes and then I'll come back,
You don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, is that I've had to train myself not to feel guilty about it. Like there's no question that I can throw 60 pieces in an hour. That's not a question. But when I'm throwing at work just and I'm at work, like I throw a set amount of pieces each day, and however long that takes me is however long it takes me. And that's fine.
Right.
Plus you're paid per piece. You're not paid hourly for those pieces you're throwing.
Right.
So.
And that seems like a healthier attitude,
Yeah, it's been nice.
Right.
Yeah. Do you work alone a lot, or is your brother there a lot? Like how?
He's there usually Mondays and Tuesdays, and then he still works for another potter as well. So he's usually there Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday afternoon. So
okay.
I have discovered that my mental health goes down when I'm not around people. So I'm not sure how introverted I really am.
Is that because your mind races?
Yeah, I get too in my head, you know? Like I'll listen to podcasts and then I'm like, I'll listen to like a true crime podcast and then I like go on this tangent where I have to like look up everything with like narcissistic personality disorder. And it's like, why are you doing this? Like,
maybe you need to stop listening to true crime podcasts.
Well, that's probably true. I don't listen to as many as I used to, but I do need some more. So I've been trying to listen to like more upbeat things, more like comedy things and, happier, upbeat.
I found a podcast today from my question earlier this week about investments.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's a pause for podcast break. Because both of you will like this. It's a podcast called Choose Fi, CHOOSEFI, and it's basically
Right.
It stands for choose financial independence.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw your story today.
And so so it was really good, and it's all about like how you can become financially independent, and they're not like just gearing it towards the rich people. They're like, hey, if you work minimum wage, you can still have money in the bank if you save. And so
right.
And it's not
Choose Five
company Fi Fi.
Yeah.
Choose Fi.
Okay.
Yeah, and so anyway,
it's not a company that's advertising for their products or something like that too.
Oh, okay.
And they
I'm
don't
thinking like
sell
Dave
anything.
Ramsey or something like that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they're not selling anything on their like websites or anything like that.
Oh,
They're
that's
like
cool.
They're just like really, and it was cool. It was like listening to it today, I felt like really energized because it was very upbeat and it was very like hey, you can do this. Like you don't everybody can do this,
Right.
And I thought that was cool. It is definitely interesting listening to certain things and whether they.
I started this book, The Automatic Millionaire, last year, and it talks a lot about that, like how it doesn't really matter how much money you make, just how you use it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that this is good, I think, maybe a good question, concerning money and mental health. Do you feel like does the money part of the business stress you out and does it affect you? And or are you pretty comfortable right now where you are?
I will answer that. Yes, it stressed me out a lot. So we're going to back up a little. So when I was doing those trade shows are very expensive. And
these are for wholesale, right? You're at a show just for wholesale clients.
Yeah. So like, I don't know how much it is now, but when I was doing like the New York Now show, it was like $7,000.
Holy shit. Just for a booth?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And you don't know if you're going to even break even. And so plus, I had like hip surgery and then I had a couple other surgeries. And so I had kind of I had maxed myself out. I had racked up like a ton of credit card debt, which stressed me out because some people can deal with debt. Like they're okay with it. I am not. I am not okay with that.
Get out of my life.
Right. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. Like I will not sleep. And so like when COVID hit, I had pretty much planned like I was going to be debt free by the end of the year, and then COVID hit and I was like, "Oh my god, I am not going to be debt free. I have no money saved because I had been paying off, all these bills. And so again, talked to my friend Megan Alman, and I was like, I need help. So she she told me some books to read, which really helped me get my shit together. Because I needed to get my shit together. And so like now I have like my retirement account, my emergency savings account, my tax account. Like basically COVID scared me straight, it did.
Yeah.
And that, because mentally I feel, it was getting pretty, I feel like most people it was getting pretty hard there, like in February. Because we were just like, everybody was done, right? But not having to worry about money has helped a ton. Because when I worry about money, I don't sleep. And like one of the biggest triggers of like mental health problems for me, and I think a lot of people, is if you're not sleeping, So yes, having money in the bank has helped a lot.
Now, did you reach that goal of being debt-free, or are you still working on it?
I'm debt-free. I still have the mortgage on the studio, but other than that, I'm debt-free.
Hey!
So your house is paid for?
No, I still have a mortgage on the house. Sorry, there's still a mortgage on the house.
But you own your vehicles.
I feel like those are the acceptable debts.
Okay, we need to back this up. Ryan, I am debt-free. Joe is not completely debt-free yet. He will be soon.
Wait, you're married though. You have a unit. You're a unit.
We are a unit, but we are a unit. We might not be the most.
But his stuff is not paid.
Unit. Right. Yeah.
You know what's crazy is that when did you become debt-free?
September or October.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of forgot about it because everything was so. Well, I was painting the studio. I didn't have time to really think about it. It took like 2 months. I thought it'd take like 2 days.
I became debt-free in December.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It's a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
No, it is really good for your mental health, honestly, to have your money like figured out. And I know it's really hard to like think about it. And I think that I'm sure we're all in different brackets of like financial stability, but also it's not like any of us are like supremely rich, and just having like really working on having just like maybe a couple $1,000s in the bank that if something goes wrong can really help you just emotionally, and just it's like, oh hey, I don't really have to worry about that, and that's like really freeing.
It is. Yeah. So let's talk about how to do that.
Okay.
No, but I think we should tell people like how to save money, because I didn't know.
As a business person, or
as a business person. No, as a business person, like
let's talk about it.
How to save your money. So like you want to do this full time, you need to save your money.
You do.
So 25-year-old Heidi, this is for you.
Does that work with what you got kind of thing, or is that like decide what you need versus what's going to make you money?
Well, I think too, part of it is like when money comes in, like I know that I used to like, I'd do an art fair and I'd get like $2,000. It's like, woohoo, I'm rich.
Yeah.
No. Like you get that money and you need automatically you need to save it. I'm not saying all of it, but I think, like.
Plus you owe taxes on it at the minimum.
Like you need to put like 15% away for taxes, and you need to put a certain amount away for like your emergency fund and like your retirement. And you have to decide what, but like even if you did like $20, I think sometimes, like, I used to think that I had to put like $1,000 away at a time, but it adds up really fast.
So I don't know, what method do you use to kind of like save your money?
I have an online separate bank account, like a high yield savings account.
You have one saving. So your business has a checking and a savings, and then.
So all right, here we go, Ryan. I have so many bank accounts.
You don't have to go to just the business stuff. Like, how do you?
Okay,
like
so I do have a business. I have a business checking and savings, and then I have linked to that. I have a high yield savings. It's just an online bank, so I can't access it because I don't trust myself.
It's like put money in and let it grow a little bit, very minimal.
What's the percentage? Do you know?
It used to be a lot more until the interest rates went down. I think it's only like 1% now, but it was at like 3%. And that's kind of like the holding tank. So, I put the money, that's where I keep the money for like my taxes. So I do income tax, I have to do property tax, I do my sales tax, and that's all in there. Okay. Then I have an emergency fund. Then I'm so impressed how I got my shit together.
That's all in that one area.
Yeah.
That's all in that one account.
Yeah, and then I have little buckets. They're called buckets. So I have the different buckets. I have the emergency account. I have my retirement like holding, and then every quarter I take from that account and put it into the, my financial planner does his thing.
You're probably like, are you investing it in any way?
I haven't yet. That's why I was interested in the book you wanted to read.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Right. And then I have another bucket for like a business savings account. So like if the business needs to buy equipment, then I have another bucket for me for fun.
As in like that's how you pay yourself? Or like how
I don't write my I'm an LLC, but I'm a sole proprietor LLC, so I don't actually write myself paychecks. What I do is like every couple of weeks I give myself money.
Yeah.
So
you do a owner's draw. Yep, I do an owner's draw. Yep.
So you have a fun check yourself, kind of.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And that has helped a ton and then I don't look at that account. So then when I start to worry about money, because I'm still in the habit of worrying about money, like I'm getting over it. When I start to like, I go and I look at that account and I'm like, oh, that's right. I have this money that I've been saving throughout the year and I can go to bed now.
I have a question that might seem simple, but Are you paying for your supplies and materials with like a debit kind of card where it's just coming out of the money that you already have? Or do you pay,
I pay
with a credit card and then you pay that off? And
I don't. Kind of I know that a lot of people do, but I don't do that because I don't trust myself anymore with credit cards.
I'm the same.
Yeah. Plus, for some reason, they give you like, so like I have a business credit card with PNC, and I was talking to them last week, and I was like, I'm sorry, that's the cat scratching on its little scratching pad. They're like, yeah, your limit's $20,000, and I was like, $20,000? Like, that just seems insane.
Yeah, like, what am I going to do? Go out and buy a car with this thing? Like,
right. I'm like, what's the interest rate on that? 14%?
If you don't pay it off. Yeah.
I said to them, I was like, that's not acceptable.
So you just pay with a debit card?
I do. I did, but I probably should use it. That PNC card, though, was nice because it has, like, the cash back. So if you use it, then, you get the cash back. But.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes those are just scams. Like for people like me, at least, the cashback situation is really tough. Like I do use a credit card, but I don't use it. I used to use it thinking like, oh, I'm going to get these rewards. And then I stopped using I stopped using a business credit card because I had so much debt and I really wanted to get into like a cash-based system. So I don't have a rewards-based business card at all. It's only debit. And I do have a rewards-based credit card for my personal finances, which I don't know why it's easier for me, but it is. And I don't know. It's so.
I feel like you should
Like,
only be using a credit card when you know that the balance can be paid off every single month. If you can't pay the
totally.
balance off,
Right.
I don't see a reason that you, especially with your business, like you're just putting your
Yeah.
business at risk by
Right.
having a big debt on the business. Because if COVID happens and you can't sell and you can't keep up with the balance, then
Right.
you're putting your business at risk, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard though. It is really hard, and especially when you have things that you need to buy, like clay or anything like that. I can
Right.
totally understand why somebody like I stopped using a credit card for my business, but that doesn't mean that I've always not used a credit card,
Right.
And it can be ooh.
It's midnight. Sorry. What are you doing? No, I agree.
It can be, really like yeah, it can be damaging for
It's a
sure.
nice incentive, right? You're like, okay, I'm gonna drop $400 on clay. Like, why not put that on a card? I can get cash back. But it's obfuscated. It's like, okay, that $400 is gonna come next month.
Yeah.
So do you have the money for that, or are you gonna buy something else in the meantime?
Yeah. Yeah, it just didn't become worth it for me in the end.
Yeah.
And then are you ever gonna use the rewards? Like we have personal credit cards and stuff, and like we never use the rewards. We're like, don't we like want to use that hotel rewards or something? Like, oh yeah, no, we're just saving them. I haven't used it yet.
Right.
Yeah. Well, how long do you think it took you to like get yourself into shape, like financially? Like after you decided you're like, oh no, I need to figure my shit out.
Well, you mean like, so pretty fast. So I would come home from work every night and read a finance book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was pretty scared, yeah. And I was exhausted because I don't really like reading that stuff, But I was like, damn it, we're doing it. And I would like take notes and I was like, okay, this is what I have to do and this is what I'm going to do. And I would tell like Joe and like my siblings and friends, I'm like, I'm doing this and this and this is going to happen. And they're looking at me like I'm crazy because I never had talked that way before, right? And whenever someone changes, you're kind of like, is this really?
Yeah, like, what's the driving force behind this? What's the urgency? Like, what happened to drive her to think this way?
Right. And I was just like, I don't necessarily know if I want to retire, but I want the option, And I was like, I got it. Like,
or what if you have another hip surgery? Like, what if,
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Right. No, exactly.
like something could come up that you don't know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
do you remember the books that you got? Like, can you recommend them or do you want to message me and we can put them in?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, because one of them, the first one I read, I think everyone that runs their own business needs to read it. Like it was so good. I was like, oh my God, how have I not heard of this book? And I can't think of the name of it, but it's in my office.
Leaving people on the edge of their seat.
Right, and I will tell you, I don't know the name of it. Here, let me see if I can find it.
Must not have been that good.
Oh, it was. It was. It was. I could look on my Amazon.
The concepts still stay with you, but the name of the book, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, the concepts. Oh, I have it right here. It's called The Money Book for Freelancers, Part-Timers, and the Self-Employed. The only personal finance system for people with not so regular jobs.
It's a very long title.
It is, but it is a great book.
Does it have a green cover?
It does. Have you read it?
No, I knew it would though because it was called The Money Book.
Oh.
Who's the author if somebody just wants to look up the author?
It's by Joseph Diagonese and Denise Kiernan.
Okay.
Okay, it might be easy. Just look up the money book.
Yeah, just look up the money book. It'll come up. It's chartreuse, the cover. Yeah, it's really good. It was very helpful. It totally turned it around for me. So
that's good.
Yeah, because like when you and I talked like in March, I was like, I'm selling the studio, I'm out, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then, like a month later, I was like, okay, let me see what I can do. So
yeah, I use I mean, I've been working on like financial stuff for a long time, but I use Digit to save personally, and I think you have to pay $5 a month for it, but in my opinion, it's worth it because it just pulls a percentage of your bank account out of your bank, and it just puts it into its own like little savings area. And I have like 3 separate ones. So I have like a retirement one, an emergency fund, and then a vacation fund.
Oh, nice.
And like sometimes I'll look at my bank account and I'll be like, it pulls out like $25 every day, and I don't really even notice it. You know, it would be like you going and getting a really expensive meal.
Right.
But it like pulls it out and puts it in someplace else. And then I'll take out lump sums and then invest them eventually. But that's a really good tool I found for me personally, just because it does it automatically and I don't have to worry about it. And it chooses the amount. And you can say like, don't ever, if my balance is under this amount, please don't pull any money out or something like that. But
right. But you get to choose what that $25 gets distributed. Like 20% goes to this retirement bucket, 40% goes to this just emergency bucket, and then like 40% goes to this other bucket. Is that what you're saying?
No,
inside Digit?
I don't really choose that. I don't know if it does it equally or not, but it seems like it does it pretty equally. Like a third, a third, a third. But man, I'm just going to tell you how much it's saved. And this is like, I don't think I've taken anything out in the last little while. Well, that's kind
of the point of it, right? It's not supposed to be liquid that you can just pull money out so that it de-incentivizes you from.
Yeah, I think I pulled like $700 out of the rainy day fund because I had to buy tires, you know? And then the vacation fund I did use actually on fun stuff. But like the rainy day fund is like $2,500 and the retirement's like $3,000. So like it's actually saving a fair amount, you know?
And is it just Digit, like spelled like digit, or is it some cute way?
Digit.
I'll have to check that out.
It saves in the retirement money, it saves $5 pretty much every day. And then in the rainy day, that's the one that pulls out. It pulls out $10. And then in the vacation one, it pulls out about 10.
Man, that adds up quick.
Yeah,
$10 a day.
Yeah, it adds up. It like, well, maybe not a day. Maybe like.
I feel like it would be like $10 a week.
Like
and
every
like $20
days.
a week going to something else, and then
like every 2 days. And sometimes it pulls like $1.89 out, and sometimes it pulls 21 cents out. Like, you know, sometimes it's not a ton, but like every 2 or 3 days, maybe. But yeah, it does. It adds up, and it's a great passive way to save some money, and then you don't have to really. Like, you don't have to really worry about it. And I think about that. Like, sometimes I'll look at that account and I'm like, man, that's $5,000. Like, that's $5,000 that if shit hits the fan, like, I have that much money that I can, you know, use without any guilt. Because it's just been figuring itself out. Yeah, I've been saving it for that reason. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I recommend it. It does cost money like per month, but it's, in my opinion, very much worth it. So,
yeah. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. You could obviously do that. You can set up like an auto withdraw. I always wish that there was like some program that every time you imported money into your bank account, it took out a percentage of that and put it into, like, it was an automatic like 30% that it saved.
Oh, right.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That's what that book that I recommended says to do every time you get paid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it every time I get paid. I do it every 2 weeks. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. How much longer do you want to go?
I don't know.
I'm not trying to rush you off. My battery thing is flashing. If we need to keep going, I need to grab my cord.
Well, we're almost at 2 hours, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have to.
See, I told you.
I
could just talk to you for like.
Thoughts. I feel like it might be fun to do a what would you do if?
That's a good question. I know. I was going to bring down my question book to ask you questions. I bought a book. Deidre, Ryan's mom, told me to buy this book so that we could ask you questions on the podcast, but I took it to work.
About this book.
Yeah, I took it to work, and so we've been asking the questions at work.
Oh, okay.
I ask them every lunch.
I had a question that was related to the book stuff.
Hang on 1 second.
All right.
I want to plug this in because I'm afraid I'm gonna lose you. Hang on 1 second.
Did you want to look at the what would you do if thing and see if you see one in the list that would be good?
I can do that.
Because I have a question that'll be fun.
Oh, edit this out. Oh, no.
Yeah, Becca might need to edit this out.
I'll probably edit this out.
Hang on. Hello. Here's a fun fact. I have a hard time telling left from right.
Really?
Yeah. I actually have socks on right now that say L and R. I put them on the wrong.
Why do socks need to be on certain feet? Like, I thought socks were...
I don't know. It's just some weird thing. But I put them on the wrong feet today, and I was like, damn it. Okay, Ryan, what was your question?
So my question was, last year you started doing this 5 things to be happy about today.
I did, yeah.
From this book that actually Becca got recently. So how did that come about? And like, you know, why did you do it?
Oh my God, that was literally, I think that's actually what got me through COVID. I hope you know that, Heidi.
That's why I started it. Because I was
get back into COVID.
No, but I was like, I remember I was sitting, so my parents live across the street from the studio, so I go and see them for lunch. I go and eat lunch with them most days. And I remember I was over there and I said to them, oh man, things are getting bad. Like, I think maybe I need to pull out the 14,000 things to be happy about a day book. And they're in their 80s, so they're like, what are you talking about? You know, and I was like, well, you know, on Instagram, I think I should start like maybe just I didn't like have it planned out. I don't plan things out very well. So it's like, I'll just go and like do 5 things to be happy about a day and see how it goes. And so
this book is 14,000. Like, that'll last a while.
Right.
We don't know how long this COVID thing's going to last. So.
Right. So that was it. I was like, I'll just get on there and just be silly. Because I'm good at being silly. Basically, I was like, I'm good at being silly. I think people need a little silly. I know when, like, I'm feeling down, someone being silly, you know, helps. So that was it. And then people really liked it. Which because it was
it was so funny, Heidi. Like, I don't know if you realize the volume of funniness that happened from those, just because the best part was that your Instagram was totally messed up during that time. And so every single time you posted the stories, they'd get all jumbled. And so you'd hear 5 first, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1, and then 4.
I know. I did not think that part was very funny.
That was hilarious. When I posted the picture of that a week ago, Lindy messaged me, Lindy Garner Ceramics, and she goes, oh God, I miss her doing those. And I so miss when they were all messed up. Everybody loved when they were completely messed up. And I don't know, it just like That was the best thing ever.
Because I had bad internet, and like everyone was home, so the internet was really slow. I remember even you, poor Ryan, I would like send him messages. How do I fix this? Do you remember that? I was like, why isn't this working?
Yeah, I think I was asking you, like, are you recording the video all in one segment and then like putting it on Instagram and it's splitting it up? Or are you doing it in stories or what? So I was.
Oh God.
It's way better that you did it in order of like number 1 is this rather than just saying, and then you just flip through and then you just say bicycles and you don't like number it, you just say it.
Right. So yeah, that's how that all started. But then like during that, I don't know if you remember, I showed the shelf that I had made and I put the Mod Podge of the 5 things to be happy about a day on it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a sculpture piece that I made in college when I was going through a tough time, and like half the shelf was like 5 things to be happy about, and then it was like tongue in cheek, like 5 things that suck, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that book is so bizarre. It's got the weirdest things in there.
It's got weird things, and also there's like some of them have capitalization, some of them don't. There's like no grammar. It's like a high schooler who just doesn't care about like punctuation, like published it, which is kind of fantastic.
It is. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So did you own the book or did you just see it over at your parents' house and you were like,
Me?
I should do that? Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. It was based off a calendar, like a page a day calendar that was 5 things to be happy about a day. And like for years my parents would buy me that, and like, you know, I would always page a day. And so like they bought it for me even when I was in college. And so like my roommates, you know, I would like, if there was something on the 5 things to be happy about that day that like resonated with me for them, I would like highlight it and tape it to their door, you know. And so like, yeah, like this has been a part of my life. So my best friend bought me that book, my best friend from college, because she was like, oh my God, they turned the calendars into a book. You need this. And so she bought that book for me for my birthday one year. And that's just in the studio. I have little like things, like little happy things to keep myself entertained, like in the studio at my house, you know.
Do you still get the calendar every year?
I don't know if they still have it.
Huh.
I'll have to look.
Nice.
Yeah. I should make my own.
Yeah. I remember watching those and it was just great. I'm sure tons of people remember you from that. And the thing is, it's such a simple thing that you just do it consistently and like people know you because of that.
Right. Well, okay, here's a question. I would totally do it again, but I was like, does this have anything to do with pottery?
Who fucking cares? Okay. That was the best part of my day.
It's your stories. Like I think it's free game.
Okay.
Maybe plus, they're short-lived. It's
right.
Yeah, it's not like you're recording them and putting them on your grid every single day.
Right. And I had a little time limit. I was like, you have to do this in 2 minutes.
I think that's a great time limit.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think that you should, if you like doing it and if it makes you happier, but only if you like it, you know. Right. I think that everyone else that benefited from it. For sure.
Good. That's good. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
For sure.
Or do it do it once a week or something, and then see how it goes.
Yeah, I could do it on Fridays.
Monday morning ritual or something like that, and then
Monday
Fridays.
Morning.
Yeah, there you go.
That might be better.
Yeah, Mondays are good.
Either or.
Yeah.
Or Monday and Friday.
Right, Monday and Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. You had a question.
Okay, we're doing this new segment called What Would You Do If?
Okay.
So this should be great for your anxiety.
By the way, I was telling Becca I didn't realize I had anxiety until about a month ago, so
But everybody else knew.
But everyone else knew. So this is fun. This is exciting. Okay.
Is that like official anxiety or like like what is the difference between stress and anxiety to you? Is it like
To me, they're the same.
Okay, yeah.
Or maybe they're not the same. Stress exacerbates anxiety. I think. Well, I think for me, it was exacerbated by the stress of running my own business and not being very good with money. You know, so and doing art fairs in severe weather. So I don't feel as anxious as I used to.
Yeah.
You know,
I think stress is situational. Anxiety doesn't have to be situational.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So, yeah, because there are a lot of very anxious people in my family. I'm not talking about myself, thank you. And I don't feel that I'm as anxious as they are. Like, I have moments of, being anxious. Like, I'm pretty calm now, I think. Like, yeah. I've been calm on this, so.
Yeah. There you go.
So to better understand what you're talking about, are you talking about when you're anxious, is it like crippling where your mind is racing with things that you just become like frozen, like you can't do certain things because you're just like overwhelmed? Is that kind of how you're explaining anxiety?
Yeah, that has happened in the past. Not a ton. I feel like that happened a lot, like during like preparing for an art fair, or like when I would get to the art fair. Like I had made all the work and I had packed all the work and I had loaded on, all the work, and then it was like now I have to set everything up too. Like it's just too much. I can't do it.
And be in the mood and like ready to go to interface with customers all day.
Yeah. So
and
usually
take it all down.
Right. So usually what I do is just take a break. Like I'd go for a little walk or whatever.
Yeah. Like for me, when I have like anxiety, well, my biggest anxiety, and which also is coupled with my ADHD, is that I will, like sending anything or finishing a task, like I'll get like 90% there and I won't finish it. Like, my mom is gonna make me a quilt and I laid it all out and I like all the colors and I put
that rainbow quilt?
Yeah, that rainbow quilt. And I like put it in a box and it's almost ready. Like, well, and it's like all I have to do is tape up the box and send it to her, and I have not done it for 2 months. Because I just that's like I don't know why. It's something about like printing out the label and it stresses me out and like just all that stuff, and I just freeze and I don't do it. So that happens with a lot of things that are supposed to be mailed in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I try and do too much and then I make myself anxious, if that makes sense. Like I try and push too hard, Try to be everything to everyone. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's okay. Back
to the question.
Okay, our new segment. What would you do if? This is a good one. What would you do if your finished pots are leaking when you pour coffee tea into them?
Well, I've had that happen, so this is an easy one.
Good.
What would I do? Like, okay. Well, first of all, I have some questions now for you. Did someone buy this, or I'm just like I took it out of the kiln and went to use it and
I think I accidentally deleted that entire note.
Your finished pots are leaking when you pour coffee or tea into them. I think I brought this up as how do you troubleshoot what the hell's going on? Like
Oh, okay. Sounds to me like your clay isn't vitrified and your glaze isn't fitting well to your body. So what I would do is, if like, let's say that's at cone 6, I would fire it to cone 7 and see if that fixes it.
The same pot, you would put the pot back in the kiln, is that what you mean?
Oh yeah. I refire pots all the time. You can do it, seriously. And then I would see if that worked. And then Yeah, that's usually like if I've had that happen before, it's not usually when I pour it in and it just like leaks right out. But if like you put water in a vase and then you leave it overnight and there's like moisture, like you
on
got
the
a
table
problem.
and
Yeah, like you got a problem. So it's probably just not vitrified. It needs to be fired.
So what have you done when that happened? Like, have you had one sent to a customer and it leaked? What did you do?
I just replace it free of charge. Yeah.
Wham, bam.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's the thing. If you get something that's defective from me, I'm just like, I'll just replace it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to fight about it, or
Yeah.
I'll give them a refund, So, do you want to hear a funny story about that really quick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I was at the East Lansing Art Fair one time, and this guy comes in my booth, and he's like, "Oh, my wife had a pint glass like that." And so I make these like pint glasses that are like this big. They're big. They're bigger than a pint. They're 20 ounces. Okay. He's like, my wife used to have a pint glass like that, but it started leaking, and she had to get rid of it. And I was like, oh my God, like one of my glasses is leaking? Like, you should have told me, like I would have replaced it. He's like, yeah, it was really crazy. It's her gin and tonic glass, and she set it on our marble countertop, and now it doesn't, and now it leaks. And I'm like, what? I was like, how hard did she set it down after having her gin and tonic? Because it's 20 ounces. It's a huge glass.
Yeah, gin and tonic's normally in like, what, a 10-ounce glass?
He was like, well, she had 2, and then she set it down, and then it leaked. And I was like,
set it or slam it?
I don't know. But I was like, you can just pick another one for free. But I think she must have slammed it pretty hard.
Yeah, because she was probably fucking smashed.
Right, yeah. It's like, I'm not trying to judge your wife, but
But can we talk about this?
Right.
Put it on a coaster.
Right.
Oh, man.
People. All right. Let's see. You should probably tell us where we can find you.
Oh, well, I'm on Instagram at Bella Joy Pottery, or you can find me online at bellajoypottery.com. And if you Google Bella Joy Pottery, you can find my address and send me a nice note, not a hate note.
Yeah, send her a nice note
Right.
so she can read it when she goes for a walk.
Right.
Yeah. We should start normalizing sending real letters that don't have hate crimes in them.
Right. Yeah.
Hate crimes.
Hate crimes.
Yeah, it's not a hate crime. It's not a hate
crime. Right. I should edit that out. Yeah. We should normalize sending real letters that don't have hate words in them.
You should have do you have a P.O. box for Wheel Talk?
No.
Oh, but they could send it to my address if they want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't have a P.O. box.
File that away.
All right.
Okay.
We will see you later.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Don't leave. Don't leave. But we're going to say bye.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Okay. And then that's what's going to go on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that'll be it. But I'll edit a few things.
Okay. Was that okay?
It was great.
Okay.
I think that'll be 91. I'm just putting it on that note right there for that answer. Woo.
Well, that was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
2 hours. How do we get 2 hours?
Because you talk to someone who works alone. I used to make fun of old potters. I'd be like, oh my God, they just want to talk because they're lonely.
Yeah.
And now I'm that person.
And now you're there.
Yeah. Don't make fun of people. But anyway, I'm going to hop off here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Later.
Thanks, Heidi.
Yeah.
Thank you,
bye.
Heidi. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Maybe. Bye.
Bye. I love Heidi so much.
It was my audio was terrible at the very beginning. I mean, it was in and out throughout, but
yeah,
it was it picked up throughout. It was tough to get going.
Yeah. She's so funny. Well, how about this? I don't know. I
wonder how she planned for her podcast and stuff. I'm trying to remember the roles. I feel like they would talk back and forth, but I guess Alyssa was more of the type